Alright, I feel like I should put this disclaimer here. I am not a professional reviewer. However, I'm trying to attempt to raise some good points. Among them, add a little bit of comedy here and there when trying to discuss this game, Freedom Planet. So, I hope that you enjoy the video, and I hope you can respect my honest opinions of this game. I have to admit, I was excited to play Freedom Planet. I've been following the game ever since it was originally a Sonic fan game, and followed the Kickstarter, and I was pretty surprised that it was successful. So here it is. Freedom Planet's out. Oh my goodness. Here's one thing I'd like to say. When it comes down to any video game, it's always about the gameplay. That is the most important part, no matter what. Freedom Planet delivers on the gameplay. And everything else, aside from a few things, we're gonna have to talk about in this review. So sit back and enjoy my review of Freedom Planet. Freedom Planet is a 2D action platformer released by the new independent company, Galaxy Trail. The game's main focus on advertising was to say that it was a renaissance of 90s platformers, so it was talking about Sega Genesis games and Super Nintendo games and Sony PlayStation 1 games. And to a degree, it does meet some of these requirements. To another, it doesn't. And at some parts, it seems almost ironic that they make it to the bad standards of that era. So, let's take a dive into Freedom Planet. To start out with, the menu's pretty basic. You just have your standard start game and time attack, and actually, you could just start time attack immediately, play as the characters, and see which ones you've liked. However, I do have a problem. The options menu. The options menu is missing a lot of things, such as voice and sound effect volume. Among it, the screen size isn't an actual resolution, it's just a multiplier. But, thankfully, you can still rebind keys to however you'd like them to be. And honestly, I would prefer that you do that. You play as 3 characters in Freedom Planet. You play as Lilac the Water Dragon, Carol the Wildcat, and and Mila the Hound. Did anyone notice the cockflower in the background? 'Cause I did. It's got feathery balls, too. Lilac is the main character of the game. She has a unique special attack that's very similar to Sparkster's rocket. Among that, she also has a Cyclone double jump where you can do a bunch of damage, and you can also do it on the ground, and basically, she's pretty much the go-to character for beginners, and she's very fun. Carol is the secondary protagonist of the game. She can roll into a ball kind of like Sonic, but she can also wall jump kind of like Mega Man X, and she can attack by scratching people, and her special is more scratching. Okay. If you find gasoline tanks, she'll be able to summon a motorcycle out of existence, and this thing makes her platforming a little bit more different. It comes with a double jump and can ride on walls. She's okay, but I like Lilac more. Mila's the tertiary protagonist. She can summon blocks at will and throw them at enemies. She can also summon shields at will, and if she uses the block and the shield together, she just goes boom! Her gameplay is much slower and definitely more for people who want a chill ride throughout the game. So of the 3, I'd have to say that Lilac's definitely the most fun of them. And I think I made the right choice. For me, I really don't like Carol, especially because of her voice. Could have been avoided with the disable voice button. Oh, and you can do this. And Mila, well, I wasn't looking for a relaxing ride. I was going fast! Wanna go crazy! And so that's why I picked Lilac. The game is a typical platformer in standard progression. You start at stage 1, you end at stage 128 million, and you basically just go level to level, fight some mini-bosses, fight a main boss, and that's pretty much how it goes. So already meeting the standards of a pretty good game, let's talk about some of the controls now. When it comes to the basics of controls, they're pretty good. Jumping feels like you have some good weight to you, movement feels solid, and going up and down slopes are... well, that's not supposed to happen at all. Who appears to be a developer commented on my video, Freedom Planet as you truly imagined it. They said that the physics don't really hurt the game. And he's kind of right. This itself doesn't, but I think these do. But wait, you may be saying, how does Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1 with its crappy physics compare? Well... You know, call it crazy, but these physics don't really seem intentional. The main problem with this is that you will run into these. A lot of the times in Sonic 4, you had to, like, try to get this stuff to activate, but in Freedom Planet, you can just walk into this stuff. Really sucks, but doesn't ruin the game for me. But for others, it may. Alright, now let's cover the story. Let's begin with Classic Mode story. Stop the bad guy. Wow, that was really easy. Wait, what? I gotta talk about Adventure Mode too! Alright, well, let's get started with Adventure Mode story then. And if you don't want any spoilers, I'll get you some time to skip. Lord Brevin infiltrates a kingdom, kills the king, and takes control of his son. Then, for some reason, 3 days later, Lilac and Carol see a plane fall down, so Lilac wants to do the right thing and go save him. And Carol's an asshole and wants to stay behind, but she goes anyway. And this is where we begin the first stage, which is a very good opening stage. It shows off Lilac and Carol's movesets pretty well, and has one of the better level transitions. Once you beat the boss, just boom, you end up in a forest. That's kinda cool, I like that. You eventually run into Serpentine and Torque, and when Torque gets his ass kicked, Lilac comes in and saves him, and Carol arrives.
Are you okay?
Torque then says that the Kingdom Stone is going to get captured. So Lilac and Carol go to war, and the two worst voice actors in the entire game.
Don't be ridiculous. Nothing gets past my nose.
What is the meaning of this?
Thankfully, Merzal's train ruins that conversation, and Stage 2 finally starts. Stage 2 likes to flex its muscles more with navigation, aka you run to rooms with dead ends and hit buttons. Woo! Navigation! This stage is terrifyingly linear, and I gotta say, I like the multi-path level design we had in the first stage, so let's see if we can go back to that. But the transition here is cool. You start out in ancient ruins, and eventually you jump onto the train that took the Kingdom Stone and... Oh no! No, 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 no! We are not having any crappy bosses from this underwhelming game in it! No! Oh, he's less annoying than I thought. Anyway, Lilac and Carol run into my Sonic OC when I was 13. He takes the Kingdom Stone, and you're left to fight a giant praying mantis boss. This boss is okay, but one thing I don't like is you see Carol and Lilac together, yet it's only the main character fighting the boss. This doesn't seem that glaring at first, but when you get later into the story, you eventually see that, oh, other characters help fight the bosses too. Would make the boss battle a lot more fun. You beat the boss, and then you get out of there. Or do you? Well, according to the next cutscene, Lilac escaped, but Carol had to be saved by Mila, and this is when you meet her.
Are you a dragon? Yeah. Can I touch your hair?
No!
Oh, okay.
Anyway, later they find out Torque is an alien, and he gives him some exposition, and yeah. Basically, Lord Brevin is the bad guy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now here's a problem I'd like to address right now. These cutscenes are stupidly long. Just stupidly long. But hey, at least you can skip them, but why would you want to skip this?
Hey, Lilac. How come Torque doesn't want to hang out with us?
He said he had some work to do.
He's probably just scared of getting cooties. Cooties?
Haha, that joke was so easy the difficulty went down. Well, the plot calls and Lilac picks it up. The gang go and meet General Gong again, and he wants the team to go to Merzal so they can have a peace treaty between the two nations. Because Merzal's a dick. Eventually you run into my Sonic OC again, some guy shoots them, and then boom, Stage 3. Stage 3 is a pretty nice stage. It's a pretty nice stage to look at, for the most part. There's a lot of really cool sprite work in here. Oh man, it's such an eyegasm to look at. And the stage itself, pretty darn good level design. A lot of slopes, a lot of hills, a lot of fun. Eventually you run into Serpentine again, who makes you stop on a dime, and you fight him. Ooh, this is not a fun mini-boss. No, very far from a fun one. So yeah, you just fight him, and eventually the level progresses and you go from outside into a mall. Pretty cool. You fight him again, and thankfully that mini-boss is tossed aside, and you get a much better boss. And you're constantly running what? But this is kind of like Sonic. Whatever. So anyway, you're running away, and you hit him a couple times, and bam, you get him. Pretty good. I like that boss. Yeah. After beating the boss, you eventually run into Mayor Zhao. And Mayor Zhao rewards you by giving you... Oh, this doesn't continue through the rest of the game, does it? It does! Then Mayor Zhao says that the ships won't be ready for a while, so they eat and do nothing until then. Except say that Lilac doesn't look like a dragon. Wow, even the game agrees with me. Afterwards, they jump on the overcompensating ship and head out. And for no reason, you learn that Mila's parents are missing. Then you learn that Lilac was stalking them. This is important, you guys might want to write this down. Then you get attacked in the air and Stage 4 starts! Stage 4 is a more unique approach to the level design in this game, in which you have to jump to 3 different ships and fight mini-bosses. And it can be a pretty good fun time, and I liked it. All the mini-bosses are fair except my Sonic OC. Once you run into my Sonic OC, his boss battle just sucks. It's just not fun, and it really has to do with how quick he is. He's a very fast motherfucker, I'll tell you that. After you beat the giant peacock on an oversized ship. Ha! Ha! That is a good one! Anyway, you beat the cock off, and bam, there you go. Stage 4's done. Yeah, so you got all the cannons that were attacking you. So the ship sinks. What? So while in the water, Lilac goes and talks to Mila about her parents.
How long have you
Who
been away
Mila
from
doesn't
I'm not
ask
sure.
how she knew about that or why
you've been
Lilac was
alone in the
talking
woods
about them,
ever
but just
since?
goes with it. Okay. The crew goes back to the original kingdom and presents evidence that, hey, the bad guys are doing this. However, the Panda Lady's done some research and saw that Lilac and Carol were part of a thieves guild called the Red Scarves. They're not anymore, but they didn't take chances, so they just threw them in jail. After a whole lot of nothing, Lilac gets the idea to say that Torque was their hostage, and so that they should let Torque go. And they let Torque go, and Lilac just escapes from prison. No explanation. I mean, the story covers a bunch of other stupid shit no one cares about, but no explanation for how she got out, so... Okay. Ooh, stage 5. Good, but it's physics hell. There's a lot of sloped walls that you can just jump and run on, like, as demonstrated. Then the world's worst VA comes in as a mini-boss. She's also an annoying mini-boss, but not because of her voice, but because a lot of her attacks hop off the walls. Anyway, you get through the rest of the stage. It's had some pretty nice gimmicks, actually. I kind of like the dandelion thing. Hop from dandelion to dandelion. That's kind of cool. So before you fight the boss, you see that Torque got captured by Lord Brevin. And then you fight Serpentine again. Great! Great! I just love this! Thankfully, he doesn't take as many hits, and eventually he jumps into a helicopter. Boom, boom, shakalaka, boom. Mila and Carol escape, and boom, shaka, boom. You beat the stage. Now, this is one thing I really like as an extra detail in the game. When you beat a stage with more unhappy tones to it, no music plays and the characters pose without smiles. I like that. That's interesting. The next cutscene starts out with Lilac saying they have to go rescue Torque, with Carol saying, "Are you fucking nuts?" Then they have a fight and really show out how strong their friendship is. Because, you know, to Lilac.
She's like my tail, always right behind me.
Maybe we shouldn't be friends anymore.
So that's a pretty good friendship they got there. So the story splits up at this part, and I don't care much about Carol to play as her, so we're just gonna focus on what happened to Lilac. So Lilac decides to go and get Torque. Now stage 6 is the worst stage in the entire game. Now why, you may ask? Well, let me enlighten you. It's because the level design is so fucking stupid. Once again, we're back to going to a fucking dead end and getting a key. I was so happy when we didn't have to do this anymore after stage 2, but here it is again. The transitions, though, between areas are pretty cool. The mini-boss is a little bit of a challenge because of the spikes. But it's nothing you can't shake off. And then the main boss is actually kind of easy and has this anticlimactic finisher. That's great. How did I do that? So the stage ends. Now, the next cutscene. This entire cutscene, all of it, whoever wrote this part of the story, not only are you a sick little shit, but you really, really love Deus Ex Machinas. In fact, I actually have on my script just rant and summarize. And then after it says take Tylenol. So this is gonna be fun. Let me just tell you why I don't like this cutscene. So this is how it starts out. Lilac runs in and gets captured. And then Brevin has Torque and says, Torque, tell me where my shit is. And then this happens. Funny, this must have been her reaction when she was reading this script. But then Torque finally talks, so Brevin shocks Lilac again. Ha! Wow, isn't he such a dick? Eventually, Lilac is saved by Carol, Mila, and escapes Torque, to which Lord Brevin says, well, I got you now, and then they teleport out. I watched the whole cutscene. They didn't show a single reason, none. Just boom, they teleport out. But the coincidences don't stop there. Lilac coincidentally washes up right in front of the world's worst voice actor who was looking for her. So they take Lilac to the leader, and guess what he says?
Any difference, Your Excellency.
It means that I have been foolish.
Oh, what a fucking Deus Ex Machina!
First.
So, I just want you to take a gander here. Just guess. How do they heal Lilac, huh? Just guess.
Thank you.
If you guessed a bathtub, you're a sick but right fuck! Well, after every furry playing this game got a boner, the king sends Lilac to go do a fucking mission. And then Stage 7 starts. We gotta stop the video here, because before I talk about Stage 7, this is something that's been going on for the entire game. Every time you start a stage, you start with the health that you had when you beat the boss from the last one. This is a little weird, especially given a lot of the cutscenes, in which many of the characters are resting and healing up, but this one's the worst, because they fucking heal her! What did she do? Did she just trip to all these fucking places? That's it. Tylenol break. Here, listen to the tunes of a DOS game. Alright, I'm much more calm now, and I think we've gone through about 2 pages so far, so let's just keep going. Stage 7's a pretty cool stage. The stage was built for Lilac, so a lot of the platforming involves her hopping off walls and stuff. Plus, you can find this fairy thing that makes her attacks way more powerful. Now, the boss, though, he's a beginner's trap. Basically, the boss has the super huge laser nuke attack, and you have to use that rocket ability to get out of here. The problem, players don't really know the pattern yet. And the thing is, in order to get this power-up, you need to double jump as Lilac. When you double jump, however, your special bar goes down. So when you get it, you can't immediately escape. Once you know the pattern, the boss is easy to hack. It's just simple rinse and repeat kind of style. But going in dry and fighting the boss, ooh, that's going to be very, very painful. Once you beat Stage 7, you realize that, hey, that thing was fake. Okay. Anyway, it turns out that these were dragons made by the ancient dragon people that used to be here. And gotta say, really, the dragons actually look like dragons, and still Lilac doesn't look like them. Guys, come on! Lilac goes back to the main guys, and they say, hey, Mayor Zhao declared war on us. Oh crap, so Lilac goes to the battlefield. And so that's where Mayor Zhao and Otherworld's voice actor joins up. Anyway, Lilac shows up and makes all the soldiers shit their pants at once. And she lands, and Carol and Mila are like, what? And so they just go to battle. So then we get to Stage 8, and oh my god! It's something different! It's the Fantasy Zone!
Welcome to the Fantasy Zone. Get ready.
Oh! Welcome to the Fantasy Zone! Oh! Oh yes! Oh! That mini-boss! Oh, this is so fun! It's very fun! And then you land. Oh well, Stage 8. Stage 8 starts out pretty promising. There's some pretty fun platforming here, and I like the ice blocks coming in and back. But, aside from one part where you have to go out of your way to fight a fucking mini-boss, the stage itself is pretty straightforward. There's some cool puzzles here and there, like the block puzzles with the red and green. Especially like the last one. Ooh, that was pretty cool. Oh, but the mid-boss. Oh, what a messy, messy, messy boss. He just kind of hops around, and then he does the same supercalifragilistic attack that kills everything on screen, and then you have to land, and you have to watch out for his feet, and it's tedious. It just takes too long to beat, really. And the actual boss is exactly the same. He's boring, he's easy, he's tedious. And yeah, that's just it. It just takes too long to beat both of these bosses. It's boring. Now, before you clear the stage, Panda Boy comes out with a Spirit Bomb attack until my Sonic OC jumps in and saves their butts. I don't really know why, but I have a feeling it has something to do with Carol's story, and I do not care. So, they go to the ship that Lord Brevin's just about to escape with the Kingdom Stone in, to which Lilac and the crew are eager to go on, but Duckman's like, no, you can't go on. The girls are like, yeah, and Duckman goes,
I can't lose another crew!
and so we get more useless backstory that nobody cares about. And eventually, he stops being a chicken little shit. Apparently he had a plan for them the whole time, so whatever, and they jump in. Now, eventually you get to the Wily's Castle of the stages, which are labeled as Final Dreadnought. There's Final Dreadnought 1 to 4, and you go through all the stages. These stages, I gotta give the team credit, they're pretty fun, aside from one part. Stage 1, woo! Oh, that music! There's good music! And the stage itself is pretty fast-paced, pretty fun, and yeah, I'd have to say I enjoy it. Very, very satisfying stage. Especially a good opener. And the airlock things, those are just really cool. I like that. That's a great idea. And they don't really make it so that it's like, oh well, once the airlock's there, you're fucked. But yeah, it's good. The boss, however, really, guys, really, this is Gunstar Green. You just rawly ripped off Gunstar Green. Why did you do that? Whatever. You beat the boss. He's kind of easy. Whatever. Next. And now we start 9-2. You get to a stage where the first part has like no checkpoints. No, I'm not even kidding. There are no checkpoints. You can go in there for about 4 minutes, and if you die before you get to that level transition, whoop, all the way to the back. I can't say I like that. I really can't. However, when you get to the next part, this is where Lord Brevin's taunts in the stage actually start making a little bit more of an impact. So, what does he do? That's fucking badass. You know, Lord Brevin's taunts remind me of something.
Well done, Sonic, but you'll never leave this room alive. Ha-ha!
Now, enemies start to pose more of a threat to you here. This is what I was looking for. Because you need to keep that shield on so you don't die. It can get pretty hectic, and I love it. Once you beat this stage, you eventually get to an oxygen area and... oh, fuck, more Serpentine? Oh, never mind, he's a demon. Huh, okay. Anyway, his boss is kind of easy, except for that flamethrower attack. What the hell were they thinking? So then you beat him, and stage 3 begins. And I'm just gonna probably say this. Stage 3 is probably my favorite stage in the game. Oh, it is so fun. And they get rid of all that stupid key hunting crap, because you just run into them when you play the stage normally. Like, there really isn't that much navigation in it. You just run into them, and it's like, oh, okay. So you just go through the stage. It's fun. It's a really fun and fast-paced stage. Then eventually you come to another part, and here comes Lord Brevin. And, great. Hostages. Well, you try to save Mila, and... oh, goody! More demons! So, you fight Mila as a demon. And then, this beautiful work of art happens.
Mila? Mila! Ah!
Now this right here, this has potential.
Mila? Mila! Ah! Mila? Mila!
What a shame.
Ah!
What a rotten way to die.
I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light!
It's because of that scream. Like, it's because of the scream. How she said Mila twice, that was fine, but that scream... holy shit. Wow. Alright, let's move on to the next stage, shall we? Now this stage really tickles my fancy, for one solid reason. It's because this stage is all about platforming. None of these weird slope physics come into play, none of these weird things. That's the thing, you're just climbing up a tower. It feels like a pretty solid platformer. There's no fucking bullshit slopes, there's no crazy thing that could make Lilac just fucking fly off the screen. It's just solid platforming with some blocks. Just go up, go fight Lord Brevin, the dickwad hog, and, well, it's great. It's not just great, it's awesome. This is great. This is a great way to end the game. I love this part. And you're on your way to your destiny. And that destiny would be Lord Brevin. Aside from this, the final boss has 3 forms. One is, do you remember the mid-boss from stage 8? Ta-da! I certainly didn't miss him. The difference being he shoots goo and rockets at you, and there's no springs to avoid his attacks, so yeah. However, you kick his butt, and finally, Lord Brevin comes out. Okay, no, he doesn't fucking come out. He turns into a mecha. Actually, he turns into Bass from Mega Man. Okay. So he spins around, and honestly, this is probably his hardest form. His shooting attack is most likely why. It's pretty damn good at hitting you. But his dash thing, his circle attack, and his fucking I'm gonna kill you all attack doesn't really do much. Well, you get him, and this is what happens. Oh boy.
Your machines won't save you from the dragon you've unleashed. I will destroy everything you throw at me. I will make you pay for what you have done.
This right here. This is why I don't like the writing. She had some good emotion on this part. It was pretty good. It's just, oh, that's bad. His response, though, is good.
I'd like to see you try.
And now the final battle begins. The easiest phase, and yeah, you can just kind of spam Cyclone the whole time, and boom, there you go. You pretty much get him. It's a very, very underwhelming final boss. And wow, he is very, very similar to Sigma in Mega Man X1. But despite it being underwhelming, it does feel pretty good once you get him. Yeah! Yeah! Got him! Yeah! That was great. After that thing, you're finally treated to the ending. Here it is! Boy, that's a really, really plagiaristic reference you got there. Well, you make it back to the planet and,
She's alive!
It would have been better if she died. If Mila died, that would be some good storytelling. I was imagining a nice moment where Lilac was just like, shit! Brevin got away, and Mila died in vain. Nothing was accomplished.
Save it. I couldn't even stop him from getting away.
No!
Don't beat yourself
It's
up.
just, I couldn't even stop it.
And his army was destroyed with his ship.
Fuck, are you serious? You missed a really good opportunity here. Oh, okay, I see how it is. You purposely didn't do it because... Wait, what are your reasons? Oh, I see. One of them is because you're greedy, and the other is because you're a baby. Well, those aren't really good reasons at all. I think you would have told a much, much better story if you had Mila killed off. I mean, it'd be a good bittersweet ending. Like, come on. Like, right now, I'm hitting you on the shoulder with my elbow. Like, come on, dude. It would have been way better. Dude. Come on. Okay, so what happens at the end of the game? A Deus Ex Machina occurs. The Dragon Stone just, poof, turns into ultimate energy, covers the planet, and now shit just gets real peaceful. And they have infinite energy and shit. No crisis. Yeah. And Duckman leaves. There you go, that's it. You beat the game. I'm proud of me. Are you proud of me? I'm gonna be blunt here. I'm gonna kick the devs in the balls and just say this. The plot sucks. Here's my crappy analogy for it. It's like a corn dog. A really, really nicely well-cooked corn dog, and you just cover it in shit. That's exactly what you did. You just take a nice corn dog and you just coat it in shit, and you're just like, hey, have this corn dog. And people are like, no, it's covered in shit. And what would be the shit? You know what the shit would be? It would be the writing and the voice acting. In fact, you know what? The classic mode ending is better. Look at this. You notice something? Have you noticed something in this? There's no talking. All that was shown was actions. And the music cue was perfect. And you can pretty much just get everything out of this ending. All I had to do was show Torque leave and bam. This would have been a definitive ending. Just unbelievable. Fuck you, Emo Danny. Run my video! So yeah, it's just like, you told a much better ending from that, and it was way quicker, and that was it. This is what I don't get. Like, why with all the voice acting? Why with all the writing? Just why? It isn't a Sonic ripoff. Are you scared that it sounds like one? It's not. It's a fine, good corn dog that you guys should eat, and you just, like, coat it with this crap. I'm telling you, you guys should have stuck with Sega Genesis way of telling a story. Show, don't tell. That's what you did with Classic Mode's ending, and it was much better. Whatever, I want to get on to the things that I actually liked about this game, because it feels like all I've done is just shit on it. And I don't want to come off sounding like that, because there are a lot of things I do like. So, spoilers end here. Let's talk about the rest of the game. Now, you might have heard me say this a couple times, but the art, oh man, this is good stuff. Like, wow, guys, this stuff is some pretty prime pixel art, not just in pixel standards, but like any standard. Holy crap! All of these environments are gorgeous. They're so fun to look at, and there's so much going on. It's great. The art design is fantastic in this game. But the characters, yeah. You know what? In my opinion, Carol looks fine, but everyone else, oh baby, do they need some work? Especially Spade. All I did was call Spade my Sonic OC when I was 13 the entire time. So, yeah, the character designs are a little bad, but everything else art-wise is pretty darn good. Also, I think you guys forgot that Mila's asymmetrical. Let's talk about the music. Wow! I think you guys pretty much captured the era that you were going for here. Originally, I was gonna say that the soundtrack isn't that memorable, but after playing through the game a second time, I go, yeah, a lot of these tunes are pretty damn good. Because there's some really good tunes. My favorite would probably have to be Mila's first stage. This song. Yeah, this soundtrack and this art is fantastic. The presentation overall for this game is unbelievably good. And it certainly doesn't come off looking like some sort of retro 8-bit indie bullshit. The music and art style, amazing. Great job, guys. This stuff is amazing. And now it's time for my favorite part, the part where I get to flaunt my ego. What I would do to make Freedom Planet a better game. You know, what would I do to make this game much better? Well, let's talk about that. First things first, I would add this. I think a lot of people can agree with me on this. Secondly, character designs. Lilac looks terrible. That is not a dragon. That is a pink hedgehog. So what do I do to fix it? Well, I think I would put the word dragon in giant bold letters and use that as my example. So I decided, well, I'd put my skills to use, so here she is. I came up with this. So as you can see, I took what I said literally. I tried to make Lilac look a little bit more like a dragon and less like a Sonic character. I think it turned out well, but hey, you know, I'm not in a position to judge here, so let's keep going. Next, I'd be tweaking that physics engine they've been using. The main reason why is, well... At some unnoticeable points in the game, they do take advantage of these physics in some spots. But really, when you think about it, it still looks a kind of bit weird. If anything, instead of making it so that you could still walk up the slope, why not make it so your deceleration when going up a slope is set to be lower? Therefore, when you go up a slope, instead, you're still running quicker. You can find ways to make this look less jarring without really changing the physics engine too much. In fact, I would probably argue a lot of the level design could stay the same. And with all the people who play tested this game, I'm really surprised not one person said that any of that looked weird. Among that, it kind of contrasts with the art style a bit too, because with all the rough edges around a lot of these areas, you'll just stick to the wall and start walking. And even if you say it's intentional, it still looks weird. And lastly, the story. Now, if you actually watch the story section, you would know exactly why I would like to change the story. If you haven't watched that section, let me explain it like this. Freedom Planet's cutscenes are very long, and it's filled with a bunch of information you really don't need. It doesn't benefit the story, nor does it benefit yourself for listening to it. And especially if it's trying to mimic being an era of the PlayStation 1 and Sega Saturn video games, it still could be trimmed down. Klonoa Door to Phantomile is a perfect example of a game that has a pretty big story, but it's well made. A lot of the cutscenes in the game are at most 2 minutes long, and all the information you get from these cutscenes is important. Freedom Planet's story is Klonoa's story on steroids. You're gonna be listening to cutscenes that are thrice the length, with nearly nothing as important happening in it. To put it bluntly again, it's like a corn dog, but it was covered in shit. So, let's get a good overview here. Freedom Planet's a good game. And that's it, it's just a good game. Despite some wonky physics, the gameplay itself is still fairly solid, and the art and music is absolutely outstanding. However, there's still a fault to the story being absolute garbage, along with the voice acting and writing to go with it. But when you get to a good level, and you're just blasting through it, you're gonna have a fun time. If you're a fan of these games, you can probably get it for the price they're asking for, $15. However, if not, I would wait till it's on sale. And it doesn't matter which one of you bought it, you play that game in classic mode. Stay away from adventure mode. So yeah, this is the first time I've ever done like a video review, so how do I end this video? Should I have some kind of fancy credit sequence?